Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, three-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
They don't get the goal horn until they win. They get that. They get that, or they get... What was the other one we did?
You know what that goal song sounds like? The
Hmm.
eight. That's right. That goal song just sounds like that AE Sports like video game thing when I hear that. Like I am just not a fan of that. Like that they're playing that at the arena, but that's what.
I mean, I guess it's worse. I think like Toronto has like some love song after each goal or something. It's like some terrible song that they change. Like I think
I
it
just
needs
saw that
to
they're
be...
retiring. It was a Hall & Oates song, apparently.
Yes, it was. It was a Hall &
2018.
Oates song. Yeah.
I didn't see which song. I don't care. But yeah, I saw that they were retiring, and I figured that's probably a good thing.
Did they
Only
get rid
fucking
of Go
a
ahead,
Canadian
Pickers.
team would have fucking Hall & Oates
Hall &
as their
Oates.
goal song. Only a fucking Canadian
Hey, fucker.
team. Yeah, exactly.
I think
The
they
Canadian
banned
government has
that,
apologized for Bryan Adams on several occasions.
I think they got rid of the Gary Glitter song, right? Because that guy's been arrested like 20 times for.
Well,
like,
yeah,
you know,
when you're
pedophile,
like
but
fucking spending your summers in Thailand, picking up
Thailand, yeah,
12-year-old
Cambodia,
boys. Yeah.
Cambodia.
Pedophile.
I was just listening to something about him, and they were saying he just got busted again. Like he can't stop this guy. Like he's just constantly in trouble. He's just like Gary Glitter.
Yeah, well, with a name like Gary Glitter, is anybody shocked? Let's just say that, But we're the Uncle Puckers. Dan is off this evening. He's going to try and join us in a little while. I am Chris, along with my band of misfit partners, Tony and Bobby. Welcome to the show, and we are going to discuss the Islander game tomorrow night. And little things that Devils need to do and what's going on, because it's been a little bit of a rocky start. So why don't we jump in with that? Bobby, you got some news on lineup changes.
Yeah, there were some changes today in practice. Looks like they've put Toffoli up with Hughes and Meyer on the
That's
right wing.
insane. I'm sorry, what? Toffoli where?
What are they
Toffoli's
thinking?
on Jack's left and Meyer's on his right, playing the off wing like he did in San Jose, which is something I personally have been calling for a while.
Okay, hang on. Toffoli, Meyer, Jack.
Correct.
I like that. I think I can like that line. I think that can be a pretty fucking
if we
good
all
line.
are honest with ourselves, when we wanted Meyer to come over, and then when he did, and when we were predicting where he was going to go, we all, for the most part, really thought he was going to play with Jack.
I thought that was the reason they were getting him.
Yeah.
It was, okay, Jack's finally going to have his big protector, big winger that can clear out some space and let Jack do what Jack does, which is just, be an awesome skater. But even like a few weeks before, I don't know if you guys remember, before the trade for Timo, a few weeks before, Fabian Zetterlund was up on that line with Hughes a lot. And, part of that was, okay, well, the team is putting a big guy about the size of Timo Meyer up on that line with Jack to kind of see how it fits. And Zetterlund played all right there. He's actually started off really good so far in San Jose. All of our ex-Devils are fucking doing great.
He had a goal. I think he had a goal the other night.
Yeah, he had a breakaway goal.
It's been facing like 5,000 shots or some shit.
Yeah,
like
that'll fall apart. I'm not
just
worried
goes to
about
show you
that.
don't always need an all-star line. Sometimes you need a piece on that line that plays a different role.
Well, what do you think?
A little heavy.
What do you think about the this line, the Timo, Jack, and Toffoli line?
I think that's got the makings to. I mean, they could score like hell, really, if you think about it. I mean, I really, really have wanted to see Meyer coming down the right wing for a long time. I just feel like he's more comfortable there, and I think Toffoli is that guy. I'm just so impressed with him already. He looks like the veteran, like any situation, any line, put me in, coach. And then when you got Jack centering it, I mean, sky's the limit for it. So it's pretty exciting. I did like the balance of the original lineup, but that's not working out right now. So this looks pretty promising.
What do you think of that line, Tone?
What's to lose, right? Why not try something different? We know that we like to mix up lines anyway on this team, which I have no problem with, and I think now's the best time to do it. I like Toffoli, and I actually think Toffoli has been in. I've noticed him on the ice each game. Meyer obviously has been the guy who, and as we all know, and everyone is saying, with San Jose, he always has slow starts. It's just the way it goes. with him. So I say, why not? Why not mix it up a little bit?
And we talked in the last show. You weren't on, no, Tone. I don't know if you heard. Like Timo Meyer was asked to do a lot more in San Jose. It does take a little while to kind of figure out, or at least get acclimated to what your role is. And I think right now the biggest problem with the Devils is a lot of guys don't know what their role is, and that's on coaching and stuff to figure that out. Now, I do like that line, so I'm going to guess the second line is Hischier, Bratt, and Palat?
Correct.
Or is it Palat?
Keeping Palat, yep, on Hischier's left, yes.
I like that.
Which is good. I mean, I'm still hot and cold on Palat, depending on the day, right? I think ultimately, if you had him on a third line that is flowing well, I'd prefer to keep him off the second line when you got guys like Mercer, Holtz. But for now, I think it works good because Hischier still kind of needs a little bit of that size, a little bit of that type of game with him. And now you got Brad, who, for all intents and purposes, is kind of the one Devil that's, really clicking right now. That can help Hischier too. So,
and I think Palat was one of our best skaters at the game against
I was
Florida.
going to say, I didn't hear you guys last show, but I mean, I think Palat's been okay this year too. I think that,
Yeah, I thought he was one of the best skaters. He had a lot. He played physical. He played. He was all over the friggin' place. Didn't get any points for it, or any goals rather. I think he did get a point, but I like the way he's playing, and I think the whole year of Andre Palat is going to be really good for this team. I'm really excited about that. So the third line is Haula and Holtz and Mercer.
No Haula.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. He's hurt.
Yeah,
So do we know if he's out for any specific long time, or we don't know?
As far as I know, but so somebody else got a promotion. So
Michael McLeod is up there?
Michael McLeod is centering. Mercer to his left and Holtz to his right.
Has the makings of something pretty cool there.
It does. It seems temporary, though, because if everyone were playing to their potential, Palat, number one, is going to be on the third line for most of the year, and that is a very productive spot for him. I wasn't knocking him when I mentioned him being on the second line. So it's probably temporary, but, yeah, that's a pretty interesting line, right? Because Mikey does have better hands than he gets credit for. Mercer's an engine, and Holtz,
that's a hustle line.
Yeah.
Holtz has had some good passes so far, too. I mean, his passing, Holtz, I'm still, like I said, I'm not sold on him, but his passing's been okay so far. What do you think, Bobby?
You can't really take too much away from the kid when the entire team's playing like shit, too.
Well, I was actually just going to say the rest of the team's playing pretty garbage, and he's actually been noticeably good. He hasn't hurt this team at all.
No glaring flaws, for sure.
No. He had a couple of nice shots. He did shoot that one like 12 feet over the net the other day. We made jokes that he was shot at 12 feet the other day over somebody's head, but that was deflected. This one he actually did shoot like 6 feet over the net. But I do like that. So the fourth line is
sounds a little crazy. So
okay, wait. I was going to say Lazar centering, Bastian
to his right,
and who else?
Guy I didn't even know was going to make the team.
Guy you didn't know was going to make the team.
When he made the roster, I was like, I didn't even realize that guy was on the radar. Tierney.
Oh, that's right. Chris Tierney. Holy fuck. We do have him.
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't seen him yet, so that's kind of interesting. I'm wondering how he'll do. This is just
practice line, so we don't know for sure what's going to happen here. But, interesting line. You had so much success with our fourth line last year. I kind of want to see that duplicated as much as possible, and that would be 2/3 being McLeod and Bastian. But it is a different team, so you're going to have to move some stuff around, and Hall is out, so it seems like the best of a bad situation right now to kind of create it like that. Pretty deep.
Yeah, I like it. I want to check out Chris Tierney's numbers real quick, if I can find them. Where the hell are you, Chris Tierney?
So I'm guessing Vanacek will be in net tomorrow night.
It looks like it based on practice, yes.
Yeah, I would think Vanacek. And... yeah, probably Vanacek and Sorokin. So that'll be definitely a good goalie matchup.
Sorokin's already Sorokin's 2-0, and he also he had a shutout already. Shutout already. He only faced like 14 shots, I think it was, against Arizona. But Buffalo.
See, that's what you got to. They are going to do everything they can to shoot you down and make sure that you do not get any traction. So that's a little bit. The one thing about this game that makes me a little bit nervous, are you going to fall into the trap
It's a trap.
Of the Islanders, playing their defensive style, playing their heavy hockey, and wearing you down. Where we've seen quite a few times, saw it in preseason, that the Devils, when they're connecting those passes and their transition game is on, the Islanders have no answers for them. They really don't. I mean, if they skate their asses off tomorrow, and look, I love that Timo Meier was benched. I know that a lot of people are like, hair on fire about this. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's a great coaching strategy. It's that, dude, we went out and gave up a shit ton for you. And we weren't even sure if you were going to sign here. Like, we took a huge chance on you. Okay, we got you signed. You're locked up. You got your 8-year term. You got your 8.8 or 8.5, whatever it is.
Oh, it's up there.
It's up there. You're the second or third highest paid guy on the team. You're getting paid more than Jack. You're getting paid more than the captain. You're getting paid more than Bratt. Okay. You came here for a reason. You're making mistakes, and you bench his ass on the third period, and that just sends that message to the entire team. It doesn't fucking matter who you are, man. If you're not going to do it, you're going to sit. And I love that Lindy did that. I love that kind of that, and maybe, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but like Lindy has always been coaching these young guys up, letting them make mistakes. Is his coaching style changing a little bit now that this team is
I think it's more about the player. I think if you had the young guys, they're still going to get that rope to make the mistake. I think Meier, like, for all the reasons you just pointed out, this is a veteran now, and you are looked upon to do certain role with this team. And if you're not going to perform to expectations, you're going to sit like anybody else. So it's kind of it's the opposite of letting a younger kid make the mistake. Timo, you can't do that. Like,
right. That's my point now. Yeah. Is Lindy going to be playing with a much tighter leash now? Because this team has those expectations. Is he going to be like, you know what? You had the years to make those mistakes. We cleaned it all up. I don't want to see it again. Yeah. I don't want to see it anymore. Eventually you have to just treat them like men, and they have to be expected to go out there and win. Bobby, you talked a little bit about the Elias interview and how he had talked about, having to come to terms and dealing with the expectations that are thrust upon you early on. Like, you have to, put that aside and just go play your game. And maybe they're not doing that right now. Maybe maybe it is weighing a little bit on them. So, I'm
50-50 on the benching thing. I don't know. Like, I get it, and I'm not against it. I'm also, it's hard for me to like think that as an adult player, like, you're an adult guy, that you have to be benched to give effort. Like, I find that very hard to believe, but I'm not against it. But we also don't know what goes on in the locker room. We don't know the personalities in the locker room.
Yeah, but hang on. I just want to touch on what you just said. Like, you made it sound like you're a grown man, and if you need, you shouldn't have to get benched to get motivated and play. Well, that's not on Lindy then. That's on Timo.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's just, I don't know if, so I also go with it's only 3 games, and I really do believe this. Like I said, I'm not in panic mode at all. I'm actually on the side of, and I've seen the two sides. I've watched, on social media, you see it. There are people who are like in total, what's going on with this? Is like, they're acting
nobody
like
should be in panic mode. No Devil fan should be in panic mode right now.
Yeah, they should definitely be playing better than they are. That's 100. Yeah, we definitely know that. And this is the problem we talked about before the season started. This is what happens with the expectations, right? Because we have 3 points in 3 games. Now, 3 years ago, we would have been like, okay, we got some points. Now we have very high expectations. I'm not saying they shouldn't get benched. Same thing when Miles last year. Like, I understand it. It's just hard, man. It's hard for me to think that you'd have to get benched to get motivated to play a game when you're a professional.
Yeah, and Tony, I understand your point, and we kind of talked about in the last show too. Like, why did it take being down 4 goals before they turned on and played the way they played? Why couldn't they have that desperation after 2 goals? So sometimes different things does motivate people. And sometimes if you are a superstar and you're getting $9 million and your ass rides a pine, maybe it is a wake-up call. Maybe it's not. Maybe because in Timo's mind, he was like, I don't care what it looks like. I'm out there giving my best, and I'm in my own head.
He said the right things afterwards. He said, we talked and we smoothed it over, and the sun rises again, and I'll be back to playing my game. And he said all the right things, but like, I think it gives more of an impression to the rest of the team.
See, about the other guys.
To me,
that's what I think is the
important
of it.
thing. Yeah, it is basically you're telling by sitting one of the guys that you would never think would be benched. If you pick 4 guys that would never be benched by this team. It'd be Heischer, it'd be Hughes, it'd be Meyer, and maybe Toffoli or Palat or somebody. But
no one's above being benched,
right?
basically.
And that's what it says, and that's what it tells every other guy that's below Timo Meyer in the pecking order. And there's not many that are above him, so everybody on that team, that even could hit. I don't think he would ever bench Jack, just because there's never a night that Jack doesn't give the effort. But and I think it wasn't so much the effort either; it was the stupid penalties. That's, I think, what did it with Timo, especially that second one. They scored the 4th goal on. Like, come on, man. Like, we have enough fucking work to do. You just made the mountain 10,000 feet higher. Like, I think that was a big deal.
Yeah, those penalties, you're right. When you're already losing by a few goals, coaches have a very short leash for those late penalties in that situation. Because if in retrospect, and we don't know what exactly would have happened, maybe we only get 2 goals if we're down by 3 and not, 3 because we're down by 4. Maybe we do tie it. You don't know. The situation changes, but you do know in that position, you got one last shot to make a serious run at it. You want to get a goal quick, get a second. You want to be within 2 goals, but with like 8 minutes left or something like that, just psychologically at least. And it looked like he blew that chance. So yeah, that's a short leash situation, and you're going to sit for that. So.
And to the discussion about whether or not it's too early to panic, I will say this. Right now, in the Atlantic Division, the Senators are in first place. The Red Wings are in second. The Maple Leafs are a wild card spot as we speak. The Lightning are out of the playoffs. The Panthers, the defending Eastern Conference champions, are out of the playoffs. The Islanders are second seed. The Flyers are a wild card right now. The Devils are out of the playoffs. And the Penguins, the Blue Jackets are only 1 point behind us. So we kind of think the world's going to right itself, right? The Blackhawks are in the playoffs right now. One of the, going into this, probably one of the 3-4 worst teams in the NHL. They're in the playoffs. The Stars, a Stanley Cup favorite, they're a wild card right now. The Golden Knights are just playing amazing. Vancouver is in the playoffs. The Flames are a wild card, and the Ducks are a wild card. One of the other teams that are going to be. So, no, we all know that thing. The universe will right itself. Will all the people that we said are going to make the playoffs make the playoffs? No. Will the Devils be one of those teams on the outside looking in? No, they're not going to. They'll be fine.
Just so much content available now and so many ways to get hockey information 24/7. It's just kind of beaten into you. You're over analyzing. We said in the last show, if this were a 3-game stretch in the middle of the year, you almost don't notice it, but it is in the beginning, so it makes it more cosmic. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it is extremely important to bank these points. I like how our team at least says that. Like, these are not nothing points. You do want to come out good. It's going to end soon, but we do have a tough game coming up first. Like I said, it might get worse before it gets better.
I wouldn't be shocked if we drop the game against the Islanders. But I have to say this, if we drop that game against the Islanders, I think next week are all favorable matchups. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to go into Montreal and whoop them. There's no reason that we shouldn't have a field day against Washington on Wednesday night. Yeah. And Buffalo, they're coming in, they're playing cool too, like us. They're not, playing up to their potential. So they're going to be looking for a win. That's at our building. We'll win that one. Like, I see next week going 3-0, and I hope tomorrow night is the night that actually starts it and, kind of lights the fire under their ass. It's going to be a tough game. They're going up against one of the best goalies, in my opinion, the best goalie in the league, against a defensive team that is bigger than them, and maybe can they were bigger last year. That's actually let's see how they match up this year. Right. We have a few new guys in that lineup. So, Devils have to use their speed, and they've got to start fast. First periods, they haven't scored a fucking goal in the first period.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Off the subject of hockey, do you want to hear an insane stat that I heard today?
Yes.
Mac Jones, the quarterback of the Patriots, has not thrown a touchdown pass. I didn't know this.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I could have thrown one.
Dude, Derrick Henry has a touchdown pass this year. How does Mac Jones not have a touchdown pass 6 weeks through the season? And by the way,
I know Max Crosby owned him this weekend.
Dude, look, I get it. There are hundreds of guys in the NFL that don't have touchdown passes this year, but I can't think of another quarterback. Come on, man.
Even Garoppolo has a touchdown pass this year.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Garoppolo's, he's just not staying healthy. Garoppolo can do the job.
He's not starting this weekend. I think he's, I think they're not going to. I think he won't finish the year. I think he's out this weekend.
Green Bay?
No. We just
already played Green Bay.
We got the Bears this weekend. I think.
There's a nice, easy win.
Yeah. 3 in a row. I'll take it.
Now, Bobby, who exactly do you root for in football?
My God, that's a loaded question. Isn't it? I can tell you that as I watch the Niners game, every time I watch those colors, it still brings me back, and I'm like,
because all childhood you were a Niner fan.
Yeah, so as a real young kid, I was a Jets fan, and Jets were always kind of my local team. But literally growing up, adolescence, high school, college,
was it Montana?
Yeah, you know what? It was just I wasn't really a football fan, and I just had a particular friend at one time who was like, he's like, "Who do you like?" I'm like, "The Jets." He's like, "You should like the Niners." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, they're winning all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds good," but I was like 10 years old, so it was still young, and then I stuck with it literally for almost 30 years. Just moving out here. Yes, of course. You know what happened?
Lace is out, Dan.
I obviously don't root for the Philadelphia teams out here, but I do a lot of events with a lot of great friends who are into all that stuff. And I did get tickets for the Niners-Eagles game. I went with P.A. Johnny, and we were out there. And about midway through the game, I realized I was literally rooting for the wrong team. Like I was going to watch my Niners, and I was just so caught up in it, and just started.
So through osmosis, you're a fucking Eagle fan?
Basically, yeah, but I've just never been.
How do we just click him off of this fucking show right now? Like, are you serious? You
bastard.
root for a fucking Philadelphia team?
Yo, you're going to bring the podcast down.
You're disgusting. You disgust me right now.
So wait, Bobby, you went to a Philadelphia game and you were rooting for the 49ers?
Well, I was still at that point considered myself a Niner fan. Now,
But
again,
you made it home alive.
Let's understand this. As a Niner fan, this is why football has never been my sport. I couldn't even tell you maybe more than one name. Literally, whoever my quarterback was that year was probably the guy I knew. I'm not that kind of football fan. I'm more about watching like any games are on. It's not my sport. I'm diehard baseball and I'm diehard hockey. So football's got a lot of leeway. Dude, I was up in New England and I started liking them because I saw the turn of that. I saw Brady come in. God. I was going to school up there. Everyone's like, how can you like the Jets and the Patriots? I'm like, I just do. Like,
You're a Cowboys fan too?
No. I cannot stand him. I'm just a fan of a lot of teams, to be honest with you.
It's funny in Tampa. I remember when everyone hated Brady, and I never liked. I mean, obviously he's one of the greatest ever, but I wasn't a Brady fan. But when he got to Tampa, all of a sudden the same people that hated him were all buying the jerseys. They were all excited he was there. It was like the big flip,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been a Viking fan since I was, probably 6 years old. And again, that's just through walking past a television set with a bunch of family members watching a Giant game, asking who the purple team was, them saying the Vikings. And then my head just was like, well, if my whole family likes the Giants, so I don't like them. So I'm going to like the Vikings. They were the team they were playing, and it just stuck. And like it, little by little, though, the fandom grows and it grows, and then next thing you know, it's like they're your fucking ride or die.
They're like my fifth in my pecking order because of you. The Raiders are there because I was a Raider in high school. Like I like so many teams that hate each other. It just doesn't make any sense.
Chris, but I bet that makes. Did you have the helmet? Do you remember the Rydell, like the plastic helmet? Like I used to have the plastic Raider helmet. You got the jersey came in the same box. I think it had pants in there and stuff and the whole deal.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I had it all. I remember for Christmas, all I wanted, because you couldn't get Viking stuff around here. And I remember I wanted Viking shirts and Viking sweatshirts and stuff. And I remember my mom telling me that you can't find them anywhere. And my aunt and uncle came over and they got me a present. It was 2 Viking t-shirts. I don't know how my aunt got them, but they were my favorite. I was like 11 years old. They were my favorite shirts. I wore them until they had holes all in them and just fell apart. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. They become your team. But I was going to say, like, I bet watching football is a lot more entertaining for you.
When your heart's not broken.
When the Vikings aren't playing and I'm just watching Red Zone, I love it. I'm guessing Dan just texted us. Well, I'm not sure if we'll be around still.
Yeah, a wee bit late.
So, but, there's a game going on right now in football. I hope
Dan had that removed okay. I hope that they removed that,
Christ.
I mean, that was I told him.
He told me he's just going to go get another one.
You got to keep the bicycle seats on.
We talk about what Dan's getting removed. I just have to remind everybody that the NFL season is going strong and DraftKings is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week and you can score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener every game day this October. So, look, if you bet on football, whatever. If you like to bet on hockey, you like to bet on the Devils, they're favored by a goal and a half against the Islanders tomorrow night. Would you guys take the Islanders or the Devils on that?
I think the Devils on that.
Devs.
Yeah, you guys both think it'll be over 2. The Devils will win by 2 or more. You know what? I'd throw a few bucks on the Devils winning by 2 or more tomorrow night. So I think that's a solid bet. I did say the other day with the goal and a half, a favorite for Edmonton, that's the game I would have bet on. I think they won by 5. So we'll see how that goes. So get in on game day greatness and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. And that's code THPN. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? I don't know how I should say that. The crown is yours, or the crown is yours, or just the crown is yours. What do you think? How would you guys go with that?
I mean, you probably change it up each time.
Little spice.
All right, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that. Let me
You
go
could do
back.
one as a Canadian.
That's
We can
code
do that.
THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours, eh?
Yeah.
All right, that was good. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, Louisiana, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. That's 7 days if you don't want to do the math. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
So Kincaid, has cleared waivers, and he's been assigned to Chicago Wolves. I saw.
I had no idea that we put them on waivers.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's it, man. They are just they're believing 100% in Vanacek and Schmid this year, huh? There's no safety net.
That's it.
You know, the Shalgren got put on waivers, right? I don't know. Did he get picked up or is he back in Utica?
I think he went back to Utica, I believe.
All right,
That was
so
like 2 days
Shalgren's
ago, right?
there.
I think they.
Yeah, they put him on waivers a few days ago. So Shalgren's there if he got picked up, but then who else? I mean, the dude they had a couple of kids that were up over that prospect tournament. The one of them did come into training camp, and I can't remember his name. I believe it started with a P. What have you guys heard about this kid Hataka? Or am I saying that right? Hataka
Defenseman?
Defenseman.
Yeah. Just from what I heard people chatting about like during camp and stuff, that he apparently made some really good impressions and he's pretty solid, but just
There are
wasn't his time.
rumblings that he is going to be the call-up, not Simone Nemeth.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned that because we didn't get into the defensive pairings yet. But there's not too much to get into because really nothing's changed.
No,
And
nothing
I don't
has
know how I
changed at
feel
all,
about
actually.
that.
Yeah, nothing has changed.
Siegenthaler, Hamilton, Ball, Marino, Smith, Hughes, Miller out. And Miller apparently went into the boards pretty hard today too. Had some trouble getting up and was in obvious pain. That's the last report
Who was
I
that?
got on it.
Miller.
But that was before the pairings were set. So again, he was looking like the seventh guy, and I just can't understand why he's not at least getting a shot. It's not like we're in the middle of a solid hot streak where you don't want to change things. It's not like Smith has been lights out. He's been having some problems, taking some penalties.
He's been bad.
All
I
right.
mean, just say it,
I was
dude. He's
skating
been
around
fucking
him, but
bad.
he's been bad. So I don't get why you can't throw this guy in there for what? Third line pairing minutes,
Right.
12 minutes,
8 minutes,
or whatever.
10
8
minutes,
Let's get him in there and see what he could do. It's a
It
veteran.
makes zero fucking sense to me that you traded for a guy and he just sits on the bench when you have a sixth defenseman. Is he seriously fucking at practice? Is he worse than Smith? Like, I mean, is he that fucking bad? Like, there's got to be
phoning
something.
it in, and like we don't know about it. I don't know.
Like, there has to be something that just isn't out in the public yet. But
in a world where, like Ruff has said, it's everybody is equally important on this team, and he's going to like cycle people in. Like, we're already dealing with injuries.
I think he has his fingers crossed behind his back when he says that.
He must just throw the guy in.
It's all bullshit.
I agree. I definitely would not be playing Smith tomorrow against the Islanders.
That was today's practice. Maybe he saw stuff in today's practice he doesn't like, and tomorrow's going to look completely different for the pregame skate. I don't know.
I mean, I get antsy with coaches that keep guys in too long just because of, sometimes there's that, well, they're veterans and they've been here and they deserve it. And, I just feel like sometimes just pull the fucking cord, get them back in a few games.
That other person that's not coming out maybe has been a foundation member of the unit for a long time. Smith was never really that. He came in last year, barely played. It's not like he, grew up in the Devils system or whatever. It just seems odd that you can't just pull him out for a game.
I completely agree. Tone, what do you think? Would you put Miller in?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, with Smith, obviously, especially the last game, I mean, I have not been on his case, but there's obviously some mistakes. There was a couple mistakes the last game that, I would think if you're benching other dudes and you're trying to set an example, I think why not? I mean, what is there to lose when you have at least 3 mistakes the last game? I mean,
and like Dan brought this up the last show, and I've been thinking about it since then. Like, for what reason Brendan Smith, after he makes all these fucking mistakes, costs the team a goal, and this is not the first game he's made these mistakes. It happened since the Detroit game at the home opener. So this dude makes all these mistakes, and at the third period, you're benching John Marino, and Smith is getting ice time. I don't understand that. Like, what did Marino do? I didn't see anything.
No, I was kind of curious. I thought maybe he got hurt or something. I didn't know what was going on with that.
I think that Ruff said afterwards that every decision, every benching was a coach's decision. So I don't think he was hurt.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Bob, what do you think about that?
Sorry, I got lost in something. I just saw something come across about goalies.
Yeah, I see that. You got a little lost.
Yeah, I got a little lost there. I didn't hear what you said.
When Dan brought up on the last show, like but Smith was getting the ice time. Marino was benched. Like, why was Marino benched? I still don't understand that. And Ruff had said that any benching was a coach's decision, so it wasn't injury related. He didn't have any glaring mistakes to the naked eye that I caught. But Smith did. I don't. And now Smith's in the lineup. Is it Ruff's illegitimate kid? That's it, right? It's gotta be. It's got to be the housekeeper's son.
Yeah, I'm still a little concerned about
Riley's not your brother, Brandon.
The pairings in general. I'm just kind of stuck on Marino and Hughes being together. I just think that makes more sense, and it's really dynamic that way. And if you're going to have a third pairing that already is shit in the bed as far as Smith goes, I mean, then it really can't get any worse. So I just want to see Hughes, with Marino personally. I like the way that works.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if Smith's bad, he'll get limited ice time against the Islanders. I don't know I haven't read anything. I'm real curious to know how the morale of the team is right now. Like, on their own, because really, they're 1-1-1. It's not like they're 0-3. They have
could have
3
won
points.
every game they've played.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it really isn't end of the world shit. Like, I don't know if people are. In that room, I wonder if they're just like, brushing it off. I mean, they know they haven't played well, but I just hope that, I hope it's still loose. I hope they're not putting too much on themselves.
I think we talked a lot about, like, there's no traction yet, which beginning of the season is often like that. So I think this break probably did them well. I think that any, like, discouraging thoughts are probably in the rearview mirror at this point. I really think that there was a clear message sent between the benchings and the skate that they had to go through the other day. And then today was probably more of a traditional practice where, okay, let's get that behind us, right? We just had to work that out of our systems. And, they're going to be on the road, right? So that's good. They always say that the first road trip is good for the team. So I would think it's still positive. Hey, they know what they got in that room.
Look, to any negative Devil fans, I'll say this.
Fuck off.
In 1994-95, Game 1, we tied Hartford, right? That was 1 point. And then game 2 at Buffalo, we lost 2-1. Game 3 in Boston, we lost in overtime. We got a point out of that. And actually, no, back then that was the days where the loser got the 2 no points and the winner got 2. So we had 0 points after 3 games in 94, 95. I'm sorry, 1 point. We got the tie. So that year ended pretty good. And in 99-2000, we had a 4-1 win in game 1. Game 3 was a 1-0 win. So they were sandwiched between a 5-7 loss to the Penguins. That was only 1 point behind where we are now. 2000, that year ended pretty good, right? Won the cup. 2000, 2001, we also had 4 points after 3 games. 2002, 2003 is an exception. We won every game. We had 6 points. And then we just, that's the year we led the league in offense. So that goes to be expected. So, out of our 3 Stanley Cups, 2 of them, we had the same amount of points as we do now. And 1, we only had a point better. So, you get that shootout win rather. And, we're still talking probably, unfortunately, like how bad they have been playing. But there's still 4 points there.
Each game they could have won. I mean, especially the second game. I mean, that was like, they should have won that game, really. The last game, you get yourself in a hole like that, then what do you expect? I mean,
4 goals is brutal to try and overcome.
If I'll admit myself, like I have no worry right now. I don't know if it's just because I am too much weed or something, but I just don't I'm not stressed. I mean, I definitely think it's a slow start, but like I said, every game we've played so far, we could have come out victorious. Just the last one, you dug yourself so deep. I mean,
and then again, you look at the last 13 minutes of that game against the Panthers. I mean, they just turned it on. And I mean, that was really fun to watch. I still thought even during that third period, I still thought they let Florida get too many chances still. It wasn't like a completely it was. I think we saw like maybe 65% of what they're capable of in some that
awful
12, 13
calls
minutes.
Too. I wasn't even on last show, but it was
some bad non-calls.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about that Mercer trip that wasn't called. And, it's unfortunately, it is just the sad facts of how officiating goes. They keep score. And, but it's my whole thing was I understand that. I get the keeping score thing. And if it is a ticky-tacky bullshit hook, obstruction, maybe, you just leaned into a dude where, 9 out of 10 times it's probably not called. Those are the calls that if it happens, you maybe let go to try and keep score. But when it's that blatant, when it's just like, dude, he fucking tripped him right in front of you, and the guy has possession. He's going over the red line. There's the blue line, rather. He's looking like he's about to, get a little offense going, and you don't call it. That, I think, is bullshit.
I've been impressed with Bratt, though. I mean, Bratt and Hamilton, I mean, we always look at right now where everyone's pointing out the negatives all over the place, but Bratt, I think, has been,
dude,
impressive. And
he's been their best skater, him and Jack, of course. Hamilton, that shot is lethal when he gets it on net, and he's getting it on net a lot more than he was last season. He didn't really start, consistently getting that shot on net until maybe halfway through the season last year. He's doing it now. That thing he's got a fucking cannon attached to that.
Oh yeah. Him and Brad have been the two that I've been really impressed with so far, I would say.
And the good, though, has been really good. Like, most of their goals have been beautiful so far. They do have VTech has played pretty well. You really can't, after 2 games last year, we were firing our coach and freaking out about the goaltending.
And Jack's fired up in game 3 games in. I love it. I mean, he has that temper on the ice. I mean, did
you guys see the hit that Bratt threw in that Florida game? Dude, Bratt. And like I said, we talked about it a little bit in a couple of shows. Like, he looks bigger. Like, he looks like he put on some muscle mass, and he looks like he's gotten a lot stronger. And now he starts actually laying the body. Dude, he's going to be an awesome player.
No contract issues in his head. I mean, he might just have a monster. He may be the point leader this year at the end of the year. It's definitely a possibility.
I think with this team, it could be any one of 4 or 5 guys flipping or at least 3-4 guys flipping from year to year. It could be Bratt this year, Jack the next year, even Hischier, depending on who he's playing with. Like, assuming that we start to see all this firepower translating to wins and consistency.
Do you see a world where that Bratt Jack combo is, talked about in the same breath as the McDavid Draisaitl combo. Like, you can see potential for years down the road that this combo becomes lethal. It's Malkin Crosby. It's,
same breath, but probably not as.
I'm just saying, in the vein of
yes,
teams that have those just
the same
1-2
way I
punch,
see
unlike
the Hughes Heischer being teams and
yeah, but Heischer's when he's on his game, is a very good player. And Heischer will of course get you timely scoring. But I'm saying how dynamic
yes.
they are. Like, Bratt and Hughes are just two of the freaking best skaters I've ever seen in my life. And what they can do with the puck is amazing. So I think now we got at least 6 years of those two growing together, and you can see how much better they're getting. Like, dude, there's so much good in this team right now. I think people just need to kind of pump the brakes a little bit and let them go out and play their game.
They're young. I mean, have you guys watched Bedard play at all yet this year?
Actually, I did catch the game 1 against Pittsburgh. We ended up doing a show, I think, in between that game, and I paused it. I finished up watching it. I thought he played very well in that game, but that's the last one I saw. I see all the highlights. Have you watched them?
Oh yeah. The guy's just good natural. He's already dealing with the pressures. I thought it was kind of funny, like these kids, remember their ages, like where we were at these ages. Like, I know he already had so Bedard's already dealing with adult models, tweeting with his jersey on Twitter, trying to they're coming to the game. I saw a thing yesterday.
I know him and I got the same problem, dude. It's
Ryan Graves he still tweets you, Ryan Graves, after he left.
Don't they call him now tweeting?
You can see Bobby takes pictures of himself in his Ryan Graves jersey, but he bunches up the middle, right? So he shows his mid.
It's funny how these things take on a life of their own. Like, he was nowhere near my favorite player.
And he just puts his boxers on and sends sexy selfies to him.
I don't like Holtz that much, Adam, but it's just Ryan. But it's just what I have to do. I have to pick somebody.
Like a big defense sign over your ass, and you just take those pictures for him.
No, but could you imagine that? Like, I'm sorry, if I'm 18 years old, and I hope my wife's not listening to this, and she's an attractive model, an adult model, and she's messaging him with his jersey on, like that's it, basically. Like, I don't know, man, I might be skipping high school that day, I mean, and she tweeted him saying, "I'll be at the game, the next game." Now, I'm going to ask you something because I thought about this.
You'd be the first hockey player that is on the IR for fucking sexually transmitted disease.
Yep. But would you not look? But Chris, would you not? Okay, if you knew there's the Instagram model that came to see you play the night, are you not peeking up in the stands to see?
Of course, you're an 18-year-old kid. Of course you are. But what's the big deal? Who cares?
Nah, but how do you stay? It's amazing if they can stay focused. I think.
Connor Bedard's got a lot bigger shit on his plate than his fame right now. I think that people need to again pump the brakes with this dude. Like, the media scrutiny that he's already getting, and the microscope that he's under, dude. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And if he's able to perform and doesn't have a fucking complete and total meltdown, like everybody also forgets, this is an 18-year-old millennial. Yeah. They're kind of not built like the dudes were back in the 70s and 80s, and maybe everybody needs to kind of lay off. I mean, he seems like a great kid. He seems like he's super mature. He knows how to deal with this stuff. And as far as his skating and stuff goes, yeah, dude, he's awesome. The NHL is has so much to look forward to with some of these young guys that are coming into
that
this
first
league
goal
now.
We had too was just that
wraparound on Toronto rather. Yeah, it was a hell of a start for Connor Bedard. He's been doing great. And as far as the regular, just watching a lot of hockey so far this year, I have to say, like, Ottawa looks amazing in their few games that I've seen. Red Wings have looked really good in the few games that I've seen that weren't against us.
Carolina's looking like we thought they would. I mean,
Carolina looks good, but I also Vegas is looking like a team that has zero Stanley Cup hangover. Man, they are just rocking people. But there are some surprises, and the Devils are one of them. I think Seattle is one of them. They haven't won a game yet, and I'm pretty sure that they have only scored 2 goals, I think, or something like that.
Again, it's only 3-day games in, but I did say if there's a team that I think is gonna
you did. But is there any teams? Is there any other teams that have surprised you either way so far in the short little bit of the season?
There's no other teams, and I'm not overly surprised by anything right now for all the reasons you already pointed out. It's way too small of a sample size.
Yeah, but I get that, but like Ottawa has been
Bruins are 2-0. I mean, it's early, but Bruins are
probably the best.
It's worth watching. It's worth checking out and watching. I get it. It's only 3 games in, but Ottawa looks like a really fun team right now, and they can be the Devils of last year if they keep playing this way. What did you say about Boston? I didn't hear you.
Boston's winning right away off the gate. I mean, it's only early, but they're 2-0 also. I mean, what the Oilers are 1-2. I wonder what McDavid.
1-2. That's
1-2.
Right. That's right. They lost both games to Vancouver, and they did whoop up, I think, on Nashville the other night.
They lost their first game like 8-0 or 8-1.
Yeah, 8-1. I don't know what the score of the second game was. I fell asleep during that.
Yeah, they got smoked the first.
But like
game.
the last I checked, Nashville was up 3-0 on the Rangers. Like this is so far these first it's a little bit of unexpected stuff. You kind of. How it's all going to settle, but
Colorado's looking good.
Yeah, and we'll all forget that San Jose has looked pretty decent so far, or Anaheim. We're all going to forget that because they're going to go to back down to the bottom. But I think it's really awesome to see. I love the beginning of the season, and I don't think it's too much to, you want to see the Devils do better, but I kind of feel like. When is the time, if this doesn't start turning around, that I think people start getting serious?
I think next week. I think tomorrow. Yesterday, really.
It's quicker. Yeah.
They have 4 games next week. I forget who the game is on Sunday, but they have 4 games next week.
Is Sunday a day game or a night game?
It's a 5:00 start here.
Yeah.
What's the record they need to come through next week? 4 games. Bob, if you can check, if you're not checking, if you can see who we play on Sunday, because I don't remember.
And I will say this: there's definitely a chance tomorrow night that we don't leave with a W. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game.
But let's look at these next 5 games. Okay, we have the Islanders, we have the Montreal Canadiens, we have Washington Capitals, we have Buffalo Sabres, and then on Sunday we have Minnesota. That's right. Yeah. That's the start of a back-to-back with Minnesota.
Right.
All right,
separated by days, but
Minnesota's what, 2-1?
A home and home. Yep. Minnesota, I believe, is 2-1. Yeah. All right. So we have those 5 games. What's the record? We're not going to get in depth with the games, but before we finish up tonight, what's the record that the Devils need to come through the end of those 5 games? How many points they need to pull out of those 5 games out of a possible 10 before everybody in this state starts pulling their fucking hair out and freaking out?
7.
I go 7. Exactly.
They have to get 7.
I think 7.
Yeah. Okay.
7's fair.
Not in my mind, but
maybe an overtime loss. It's respectable, and it'll put them back in position.
Okay. Where's the you're about to pull your hair out on fire number that they come through
4
this week?
points.
4.
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah.
Even 5,
anything short of 7, like 5 points, like half the points. And yeah, the world's ablaze.
Yep. I got you. All right.
We're talking about bad contracts with that Meyer. That'll be the next. I've already heard that going on. I'm like, man, it's so early.
Dude, people
like,
need to calm the fuck down.
I'm like,
it really would be better if they were just playing every other day.
Yeah,
and
that's
everyone's got all this filler time. It's like driving you nuts because you're like, okay, I know they're not terrible. Just for God's sakes, give me that first win, and you're waiting till Friday now. So
yeah,
it'll come.
Yep, and we got the Islanders tomorrow night. Again, guys, thank you so much for checking us out. Saturday night, 10 p.m., we will be doing a live stream, so we were going to discuss the Islander game. What's up, Tone?
Go ahead. I'll let you finish this, then there's something I just want to mention before we clip off of here.
Yeah, sure. So if anybody wants to hop on, check that out. That'd be a lot of fun. Come say hello. We will have tomorrow morning our keys to the victory against the Islanders tomorrow. Give us a like, subscription, positive review, say hello, whatever on social media. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. Thank you very much for Bobby and Tony. I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers. We don't have an outro, so we'll see you when we see you. Wait, I'm sorry, Tony. What do you want to say?
Got to give some love out to Suzanne Summers, guys. Right? Three's Company, yep. Chrissy Snow. I was a big fan of that show. To me, Jack Tripper is one of the greatest physical comedians there was. I was actually shocked because when I found out she'd passed away. And she had been sick for a while, but anybody who's our age is pretty much, I think know who Chrissy Snow was. I mean, I don't know if you guys were.
I didn't even know she died.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's sad as you get older and you see a lot of the icons you kind of grow up watching. Reality kind of sets in a little bit. We're not that old, but
Yeah, before we all start examining our own mortality and get all depressed here, I think we're just gonna say R.I.P. Chrissy Snow.
Burt Young too, Paulie.
Paulie, Rocky movies. Sorry, Philadelphia. Paulie's gone. Sure, they're flying their flags at half-mast.
83 years old.
He was awesome. But anybody else die, Tone? Before we get us off on this positive note?
That's my doom and gloom. I always bring it every episode. I'm the mortician of the show. I'm the mortician of the show.
Thanks for checking us out, guys. See you soon.
Peace.
Later.